What's going on today, YouTubers? Welcome to another edition of Walking Reviews. So, what do Dan Aykroyd, poutine, and this knife have in common? They were all made in Canada. This is a Rod Olson creation, custom knife, the M9, and it is obviously a button lock flipper. And like Dan Aykroyd and poutine, it is awesome. This thing is insane. So real quick, I'll jump into the specs before I start gushing. We have a 3 1/8 inch blade of Bjorkman twist Damasteel. You can see we've got a drop point design with a nice small top swedge. I'm not normally a Damasteel guy, but this stuff just looks amazing. And you can actually feel the pattern in the blade. Sorry, I'm getting smudges on it, but no big deal. Really nice edge. It is hollow ground from about 4/5 of the way, so nice and thin behind the edge. And that's not easy to do with 1/8 of an inch thick blade stock. You know, this isn't like extremely dainty stuff. The handles are milled titanium, 4 inches long, so really good blade to handle ratio there. I like that. I like the kind of faux inlay milling there. It really does a great job for grip, which this knife definitely needs. There's no jimping up here. And honestly, the only really negative I can give this knife is the flipper placement when it's open. I don't like how abruptly it comes down, but honestly that's a minor gripe. So, and the handles have obviously been given a stone wash, as you can see. So you're seeing this thing flip open and closed. There's absolutely zero blade play, so it's not like I just, this thing's extremely loose or something. This thing is rock solid lockup, and it's just swinging closed and flying open. This rides on bronze phosphor washers, guys. So, going back to what I mentioned in previous videos, materials are a vastly overestimated part of what makes a knife like this smooth. It all comes down to the maker. It all comes down to how the knife was designed and made, and really the materials are secondary. I know that a lot of times it's hard to hear that, because you want to think like, well, in a vacuum, sure, ceramic is probably better than stainless steel for ball bearings, and ball bearings are probably better than bronze phosphor washers when it comes to smoothness. But really, it's how the maker utilizes those that ends up making the difference. Maybe if Rod Olson were to make this exact knife, but used ball bearings instead, and he was exactly as skilled with ball bearings as he was with bronze phosphor washers, maybe it might make a tiny difference. But this thing is so already insanely smooth anyway. Like, how much better is it going to get, really, honestly? So moving on, the pocket clip here is also Bjorkman twist Damasteel, and it's been 3D milled. Not the deepest carry, but a lot deeper than many knives that I've been getting into my hands recently, so I'm very happy. This also carries extremely well. No problem getting it in and out of the pocket. The construction here is also extremely simple. One standoff, the blade stop there, and then the pivot, and that's it. That's the whole shebang. The button lock is extremely stout. which obviously contributes to what I was saying, zero blade play in any direction, and I was torquing on this thing. That's kind of one of the benefits here I'm seeing of the button lock flipper, is there is no compromising the handle strength for a lock bar cutout or a liner lock, you know, being put in there. All the strength is still there because it hasn't been compromised with cuts or anything like that. Not that you're ever gonna, I don't even think that should be much of an issue, to be honest, because if you're putting a pocket knife to that hard of use, you're using it wrong anyway. But that's just my opinion. So the fit and finish here is perfect, dead spot on centered. Nice milling up here at the top. Just everything has been thought about and done to perfection on this knife. Other than, like I said, I'm not super crazy about the way that this flipper tab sits. Like, you could use so much more of the handle. You know, you could get up a whole lot further if they had just altered the flipper tab just a tiny bit. But that's not, you know, that's not a big gripe. It's still plenty comfortable to use, so, you know, no big deal. This wasn't a knife that I was expecting to like, honestly. I really was not expecting to be, you know, I thought it would be kind of cool to check it out. I didn't think it would be a piece of junk or anything like that, but my expectations were not nearly as high for this as they've been for other recent knives, and this thing way over-delivered. Way over-delivered. Super fun to play with. I do find myself kind of reaching for a lock tab, but you know, that's anytime you switch from something you've been doing for a long time to something new, you're gonna see that. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to try a Brian Ty design, because he also is into the button lock flippers, and he's been doing it a lot longer than Rod Olson, as far as I know. And if Rod Olson can make a knife this good with a button lock, I'd love to see what Brian Ty is doing. Really cool decorative pivot cover there. I'm almost 100% positive that's just a cover for the pivot, not the pivot itself. Haven't had this knife apart yet. Haven't really felt the need. Really, there's nothing, you know, when it comes to knives with like ball bearings and stuff in there, you know, I like to, when I get them, take them apart, make sure they're all clean and good, just so that the action is as good as it can be. But this thing, with bronze phosphor washers, there's really nowhere, you know, the tolerances are tight enough, there's really nowhere that I'm going to need to clean to get this thing flipping as good as it is right now. And with the open construction, man, think about how easy this thing would be to just clean out. Just boom, a little bit of water in there, whatever, dry it off and you're good to go. So definitely, if you get a chance, check out a Rod Olson. They are extremely, from what I'm seeing here, extremely well made. Really fun to play with, and it's different, you know. We kind of are in a period now where makers are kind of relying on the same exact type of knife to sell, and they're, you know, it's a hell of a model, so I get it, you know. They're really fun to play with, frame lock flippers or liner lock flippers or whatever. They're really fun to play with. So you don't see many guys doing this with the button lock. Really, Rod Olson and Brian Ty are the only two that I can think of that have made any kind of name for themselves. So definitely something to check out if you guys get a chance. An awesome knife here. This is the M9 by Rod Olson out of Canada. So as long as you don't burn when you touch something Canadian, definitely go for it, guys. All right, take it easy. I'll see you on the next one.